Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQ&AV, and as always, NoDQ.com. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right down to your questions. If John Cena was to leave WWE sometime in the near future, how much would it hurt WWE business? I think in the short term it would hurt WWE business slightly, but as we've seen in the past, WWE has always recovered when a major star has left. When Hulk Hogan left, WWE definitely took a big hit, and it took them several years to recover from it. But WWE has always bounced back, and they've always created new stars. Now, obviously, there's a concern right now that WWE doesn't seem capable of creating a new big star. It's been a long time. Really, I mean, WWE hasn't created a major superstar. You could say CM Punk, but besides CM Punk, you have to go back to when John Cena and Batista and Randy Orton broke out. So I think WWE would take a bit of a hit, but once they have a new star on the horizon, they'll do just fine. As long as WWE can keep producing new stars, they'll be okay. And the wrestling business has also changed. It's not so much the fact that it's one guy that is the draw and is carrying the company. Now, WWE is the brand name. People go to live events. They watch a TV show to watch WWE. They aren't really watching for one specific person. Back during the Hulk Hogan era, Hulk Hogan was the attraction, and you could argue that Hulk Hogan was bigger than the entire wrestling business at one point. So times have changed, and I think WWE would be just fine without Cena. This is from Nick Gags. Will Chris Jericho return in time for Wrestlemania 29? Well, to my knowledge, Jericho is gone to do the Fozzy tour right now, and once that's over, he'll be back. So I'm assuming we'll see Chris Jericho back early 2013, leading up to Wrestlemania 29. That's what I think will happen. But who knows? Perhaps Jericho will want to take some more time off. Maybe he'll work on another record. Who knows? He might just want to stay away from the wrestling business for a bit. I mean, the only person that really knows the answer is Chris Jericho. But I think that if he's available for WrestleMania 29, he'll more than likely be there. This is from BJ Nation. Hey Aaron, who do you think is the best wrestler to never win the world title? Personally, I think it is Scott Hall. Please answer in video. I'm going to have to go with Roddy Piper. I mean, Roddy Piper was one of the biggest stars in the wrestling business in the 80s and even in the 90s too. I mean, from a mainstream perspective, I mean, a lot of people knew who Roddy Piper was. He was a pop culture icon, not to the level of Hulk Hogan, but he was pretty close. So I'd have to say Roddy Piper. But Scott Hall is definitely up there towards the top of the list. I've talked about this before. If Scott Hall had stayed healthy and didn't have all the demons, I think there was a good chance he would have been WWE champion. Other guys on the list, Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude, Owen Hart, those would be the guys that probably should have gotten a chance to be world champion, but they were just from a different era, and if they were around in today's era of WWE, I think there's a good chance they would have been world champion. Here's another question from BJ. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. That was just a comment. Hey, Aaron. John Cena finally turns heel, but it flops like Stone Cold in 2001. What are the odds of that happening? Well, I mean, I understand your question, considering the fact that WWE, they have these big storylines that seem like they're easy to pull off, and then somehow they end up dropping the ball. You look back at, like, the Invasion, something they could have done way better. Guys like Goldberg come in and don't really make the impact that you would expect. So yeah, I could see WWE somehow screwing up a John Cena heel turn. I would not rule that out. But I mean the big concern about turning John Cena heel is that you turn him heel and then the male fans are going to cheer him now because he's turned heel. So it could end up where more people end up cheering John Cena when he turns heel. I mean, right now he kind of is a heel in the eyes of the male audience and the fans that are sick of seeing John Cena all the time. He's already a heel to them. So if you turn his character heel, then it kind of ruins that dynamic you get when John Cena comes out. You have half the audience cheering him, half booing him, and it is a concept that works because he just gets such a huge reaction every time he comes out. And if you turn him heel, you might end up killing that. I mean, who knows? There's no way to really know until you actually go for it, and you got to experiment and give it a shot and see what happens. I just don't see WWE turning him until they really feel that his character as it is right now is completely done. There's no more money to make off of it, and they got to do something different. That's the only way I could see them changing his character around. And you know, it could go either way. It could be a huge success, or it could end up flopping. You never really know. This is from Gil Solorio, Super Gilberto. When you have kids, are you going to name them after your favorite wrestlers? Probably not. I don't think my wife would be too thrilled about that. Although we did talk about the idea of naming our son Sean and having his middle name be Michael, Shawn Michael Rift, but probably not. I think we'll come up with a different name, but it would be cute, I guess. Let's see here. This is from LDMJR. How would you rate Great Khali's debut, and do you think WWE handled his debut well? I think considering Great Khali's limitations, I think WWE handled his debut really well, actually. I think they did their best to portray him as an unstoppable monster, and they hid his weaknesses as much as possible. You know, he can't really do much or anything, so just have him be this monster that stands there and you hit him, and he doesn't sell it, he doesn't react to it. So they really did the best they could with him. And it worked for a while, and once it got old, you know, they made him this comedy figure, and you know, the Khali kiss cam and all that stuff, and I mean, they got a good run out of him, I think, all things considered, and you know, they really took advantage of the fact that he was a freak of nature, and they built him as this attraction, special attraction, so it did work for a while, despite the fact that he really couldn't do anything in the ring. So yeah, I mean, they did the best they could. This is from, oh my God, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name. Joao Felipe, 315. Hey Aaron, I'm a big fan all the way from Portugal. Very cool. What do you think about Survivor Series 2001 and WWF versus WCW ECW? And can you see that happen next year with WWE and TNA ending in a 10-man tag team Survivor Series elimination match? Please answer in video. Well, let's start with Survivor Series 2001. I think for me and a lot of other fans as well, I was just so burned out on the Invasion storyline that I was just relieved to see it finally be over. I didn't really have a lot of emotional investment in that pay-per-view just because I was tired of the Invasion. I was bored with it. I just wanted to see them put it to pasture. And I think a lot of other fans felt that way too. I mean, they held that event, I believe, in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they did not sell it out. You would think that this big pay-per-view, WWF versus WCW and ECW for complete control, and one or two of the companies goes completely out of business in storyline, you would think this would do huge business, but they didn't even sell out this pay-per-view. So I think that's very telling right there. And it was a decent pay-per-view, and you know, part of the problem too was that they had thrown so many guys into the Alliance, and they've switched back and forth. You had Kurt Angle feuding with the Alliance for the longest time, and then he just randomly joins them. So yeah, I mean, it was what it was, and I was just happy for the whole thing to be done with. As far as another Survivor Series down the line with WWE and TNA, and the idea that WWE might buy TNA and then do this kind of pay-per-view again, I just don't think it's going to happen. If WWE was to buy TNA at some point, I don't think that they would invest in TNA like they did with WCW and ECW. I think they would buy TNA strictly to get the tape library and get some of the talent, but that's about it. I just don't think WWE sees a lot of value in the TNA brand, and I don't think they would do this huge storyline with WWE versus TNA. I just don't think they would do it. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Leave a comment on YouTube. Let me know what you think about the video. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Please spread the word about this video on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media site you frequent. I appreciate all the support from you guys, and I'll see you this weekend for more No DQ&A video. And don't forget, TNA No Surrender coverage this Sunday on NoDQ.com.